I've been with my girlfriend for 5 years. Today I asked for her father's blessing to ask for her hand and heart, and he refused me. I'm trapped in a one-way marriage and I need advice. I decided to divorce because I don't want to maintain this relationship anymore. My ex-wife and I recently resumed communication after she experienced a painful breakup. I want to get everything back because I feel so lonely. Is it bad? A little background: we've been dating for 5 years, and this is the best, most pleasant relationship I've ever had in my life. She works in the field of health care, and it was her kindness to the suffering and those who are not as privileged as her that prompted me to invite her on a first date. Over the past 4 years, we have had only a few small quarrels and only one major one. This quarrel took place in October 2014. She was supposed to go to dinner with Carl, whom I missed because of an emergency at work. He called me later that night, saying that I don't show him the respect he deserves and that I always try to escape family dinners because I don't want to be around him. It's not true because half of the planning and organization at his birthday was on me, and it was a great celebration. In the morning, I told the girl about his call, but she brushed me off, saying that he just drank to it. The following weekend, when we were at her parents' family dinner, Carl was very hostile to me, but I didn't open my mouth in response. Until he said I shouldn't have missed dinner. They have family dinners at home every Sunday, which I hardly miss, so I didn't think it was a big deal. I apologized to him and said that I would atone for my guilt. For the next dinner, I bought him a smart wristwatch and a bunch of accessories for them because my girlfriend said that it might interest him. He refused to accept my gift, and when I began to insist, he got up and left, saying that he needs air. I didn't understand what was going on, and my girlfriend's mother was depressed and apologized to me again and again for Carl's behavior. When we got home, I asked my girlfriend if something had happened that she didn't tell me. At first, she tried to brush me off, and then she said it was my fault that I couldn't see that her dad wanted me to see respect for him and not my stuffing him into friends. It surprised me a lot because I never thought about him somehow, except for my girlfriend's father. We just watched the competition together from time to time and then discussed them, but our communication did not go beyond that. The girl said that I should earn his respect, and I replied that I had not done anything wrong. That's why the quarrel started. But a few days later, Carl called and said that he liked the watch and accessories. I think he tried to announce a truce like that. After that, I was very, very diligent in order, God forbid, not to miss a single dinner with him. Last June, my girlfriend's mother died, and it was an incredibly hard time for all of us. I tried to support their whole family as much as I could. I took fewer hours of work to spend more time with them. My girlfriend and I made a commitment to cook family dinners in his house because she said it would be easier for him to see that the house was alive again and full of people, and we did it every weekend to spend more time with him. Many times we were out of our skins organizing a family dinner, and once we even invited his older sister to his birthday party. I thought he would at least melt a little to me, but I realized that I was wrong. What brings us to today's incident? My girlfriend left for a week for work, and I planned a marriage proposal. I was going to decorate our apartment like a planetarium with stars and planets and write "Will you marry me?" I took it from friends because she loves them. Before I started, I wanted to get his blessing so that he would have a good opinion of me, that I ask him first, and that he felt that he was also turned on. I scheduled dinner with him for today to ask for his blessings. I told him how much I respect him and how I want to become one day as good a father as he did. And when I asked for his blessing, he just exploded. He was completely furious, saying that his daughter deserves a better man and that he never really liked me and he hoped that we would break up. He said that all last year, I, kissing his ass, just tried to show myself as a nice guy in front of my girlfriend when I'm not really like that. I was shocked because I didn't expect it to end like this. I left him all his splashing hatred and went to my friend's house. I told him and his wife about everything, and they were as shocked as I was. I spent the whole day with them and came back home about 2 hours ago. I'm not sure what to do now, or at least just what to do. Should I tell the girl that her father said no? Should I act as if nothing had happened? Now I'm drinking and playing video games? What should I do? Reddit. I'm not sure I can get out of this. It seems to me that if I write all this and share it with strangers, my thoughts will be clearer, but I think I have no more opportunity to save our marriage. And also, English is not my native language, so I apologize for all the mistakes that can lead to misunderstanding. I've been in a relationship with my girlfriend for 9 years now, married for 2 years. Our relationship, most of them, was pleasant and gave pleasure to both of us. It may seem that I am writing a post for self-praise, but we have become better thanks to the fact that we were together. I'm an old-fashioned person, and it was hard for me to meet a girl who would like the same things as me and who would share my opinion. The only unpleasant side in our relationship all these years was my relationship with my father-in-law. My wife and I rarely disagree, so most of our quarrels started because of her father. I want to clarify right away that I don't hate him. I respect him. He sacrificed a lot for the sake of my wife to grow in love and care. At the beginning of our relationship, I looked at him from the bottom up. He and my mother-in-law hosted guests twice a week, and when I first started dating their daughter, their family surprised me a lot. I really loved their family dinners, exactly from the picture, without conflicts, full of contentment, and how close my wife was with her brothers and sisters and parents. I think at the very beginning of our relationship, I even scared my wife from how much I loved to be at their house. Her mother was a saint who gave me so much love from the very beginning. She always made sure that I was part of their family events, and often at family dinner she left a place for me next to her, talking to me as if I were one of them. I remember how once I was with them and had to return to my city for work. When I was leaving, it was already late, and it was snowing outside the window. She came down from her room, holding her husband's coat in her hands, and told me to take it just in case. But I know it was from the fact that she knew that my car was messing up than it was a car living out its last days. She didn't want me to feel that she thinks worse of me just because I earn less than my wife. These little mom's things she did made me love her so much. In any case, the reason why I mentioned her is that I think it was because of her that her husband accepted me more in those days. She died 4 years ago, and it somehow affected him. I think his love radar broke down, or something like that. He began to behave as if I didn't show him my respect all the time. For example, once my wife and I brought some groceries and replenished his supplies, and I thought it would be nice to stay for dinner and cook it for him. While he was on an evening walk, my wife and I cooked a delicious dinner. Over the food, he thanked my wife for it. She mentioned that I did most of the work for her, and he somehow looked at me strangely and just kept silent. Another time, in September 2016, we were at his house on the weekend because we were cooking a family dinner. Early in the morning, we had breakfast with my wife, starting the day, and we thought he was not at home because he usually appeared first. I hit my wife on the leg because of a stupid pun or something like that, and, as I understand it, he noticed it because he came up and started shouting that I was poorly brought up and I was beating women. He told me a lot of poisonous things before my sister-in-law came and almost took him out of the kitchen. My wife repeated that we were just joking, but he refused to accept any explanations, saying that she was simply fending me. I also remember how once then his wife was still alive, he refused to accept a gift from me, right in front of the whole family. My wife's mother were there, both of her sisters, with their husbands, her brother with his family, including his wife, the children of the older sister. Everyone was there. It was very humiliating for me. I just wanted this man not to hate me so much. I think it was his wife who made him finally accept the gift and call me in a couple of days with apology. After my mother-in-law's death, he changed, as if he didn't filter his behavior anymore. He mostly sat in his room, going out only for walks or in need. He stopped watching the competition with me, saying that I was talking too much. He no longer allowed me to fix anything in the house, although I lived there almost all the time, and before that I did a lot of duties there. Among my friends, the theory is popular that he hates me because I was close to his wife, but for me, it's absurd. She was a mother figure for me, and I will never understand why it can hurt him. She was nice to everyone. My wife is also kind to everyone, if that's the problem. My mother-in-law said that she has for sons her son, the husbands of her two daughters, and me. So it's not that I'm unadmissibly close to her. I often discussed this with my wife, but she always insisted that my relationship with her mother had nothing to do with it. My wife is the youngest daughter, so she treats her father with great love and respect. At the beginning of our relationship, his behavior did not cause any particular problems, and by the time it became a problem, we already had too serious a relationship for me to break it off because of it. As far as I know, all the other members of her family like me. Both of her sisters repeatedly invited me to lunches, dinners, provided services, etc. Everyone treats me as a family member. I talked to her older sister about why their father hates me, but she always claimed that he doesn't hate me. She says that he loves his youngest daughter very much, and it was always difficult for him to please. And, to be honest, I see that it's true. On ordinary days, he was the most tolerant of all his son-in-law. But they all live in different cities or states, and my wife and I live in the same area with him. That's why he saw me more often. I'm sure that his discontent is partly caused by this as well. After my mother-in-law's death, we all had a broken heart. A few days after her funeral, when everyone began to diverge, my wife and I were sitting and sorting out some things that her mother left her. She began to worry about the fact that the house seemed to die with her. We decided to take on the responsibility of cooking family dinners, as her mother usually did. This is quite a big responsibility, given that the family almost never gets together, except perhaps one holiday a year. Usually only my father-in-law, brother-in-law, his family, and us are at these dinners. In fact, everything was very good for a while. Everyone continued to visit us from time to time, and it was nice. I was glad that I had more time for her family and that my father-in-law didn't spy on me. It seemed to me that he thought to me. At the same time, my wife and I started talking about marriage, and it seemed right. I think I've never been so sure of anything as I want to marry her. Before the engagement, we had a moment of quarrel with her, but everything was resolved safely. We got engaged in May, and this only gave an impetus to the development of events. My wife is the youngest child in the family, so she received a lot of attention from her brother and sisters. They saved her mother's wedding accessories for her, which, to be honest, was very nice of them. And gradually, after a few months, it became a big and joyful event in our family. In the winter of 2016, when we got married, my wife seated me and asked if I would mind moving in with her father to take care of him. It was probably the dumbest decision in my life because I agreed. I was blinded by love, not only for her, but also for her whole family. For her mother, whom I missed so much, for her father, who liked me but who never accepted me, to her brother and sisters who treated me like family. I was just thinking about how it would be better for everyone. A month after we moved in with him, he asked his son if he could live with him for a while. Then it seemed to me a good signal that he began to recover from his grief after the loss of his wife. But then I didn't understand why he was actually leaving for his son. He just wanted to leave the house because of me. A couple of weeks later, when he returned, his passive-aggressive attacks on me continued. But this time he was just picking on some small, insignificant things all the time. That I moved the chair, I didn't touch it. That I broke the thermostat, I didn't break it. I just adjusted it to a good temperature. That I forgot to put the tools in place. I messed up the library. Everything is in the same vein, as if I were just an unwanted child in this house. In May 2017, we had a big quarrel, and I told my wife to choose whether she lives with me or with him. Because of this, she quarreled with her father and decided to move away from him because, in her own words, he will never accept you as his son. He went crazy with grief. So, we moved out, but we still lived nearby because both of our jobs were very close. However, our move broke the family tradition of dinners, as her father refused to receive us, and we couldn't afford to host the whole family in our small apartment, and it became a real nightmare in terms of logistics. Then her brother intervened and said he was going to take it on himself. I think their father was very angry with me for destroying the tradition because at every dinner I had with him, he didn't want to have anything to do with me. In fact, I liked it because it was nice when I wasn't attacked or defended all the time. But my wife started to be offended by me for this, and I think her sisters and brother too. It's been almost 2 years since we moved. I don't often go to family dinners, maybe once a month if you want. In addition, I became more busy at work, so on weekdays I began to spend less time with my wife. I even like it because her resentment against me makes life very difficult. Every weekend she goes to her brother and spends the rest of the weekend at her father's, where she and her brother's family get together for dinner. The only person on my side is my older sister-in-law because she believes that her father treats me badly. Over the past year, she came to us twice, and these were the only times when I felt at least some affection from my relatives. It seems that 2 years ago I had a huge family in which everyone loved me, and now every month I become more and more lonely. I can't get rid of the feeling that our marriage has changed our lives for the worse. It's been more than 2 months since my wife and I were close in the bedroom. It's been much longer since we've been on a date with her. I'm completely confused, not understanding what I can do to improve the situation. While I was writing this post, it grew a little. I had to edit some small details because I don't want my relatives to find this post on Reddit and be offended by what I wrote. Told her I think my wife loves me the least in her life. It only got worse after we moved in with her father because of his health condition. Some people sent me messages asking me to share the news, so I thought I could publish it here, not in private messages. I reread a bunch of books about relationships and tried to talk to my wife many times. However, the fact is that she and I no longer work as a couple. I'm no longer a priority in her life, and it doesn't suit me. So last month I decided to talk to my lawyer and initiate a divorce. It was a really stressful time, especially for her family. But for now, I just want to take care of myself and recover from this relationship. The guys from the Dead Bedrooms community also helped a lot. I read so many posts there that opened my eyes to my marriage. Once again, I thank the people who helped me in my past times. There is a little context as to why we divorced, but it will take too much time to explain it. Simply put, I couldn't stand her family anymore, especially her father, and this made our marriage unhappy for me. Her father always hated me, and because of that he said that my ex-wife deserves someone better than me. If you want to read about my relationship with him, everything is described in other posts. I'm not sure I can attach links, but after the divorce I lost almost my entire family and friends. I was very much involved in her family, and it was hard to lose them at the same time as I was getting divorced. I'm also an immigrant here, so apart from her family, I didn't really have any friends. Just during the divorce proceedings, the COVID quarantine began, and it finally broke off all my ties with her family. And I was lonely for so long. I tried to go on dates, but the dating culture here has changed a lot in 15 years. I couldn't find the person I want to spend my life with, but it's probably my fault too. There was a girl who showed interest in long-term relationships. She was much younger than me. I didn't like her friends didn't like me. So the relationship just stopped in 2021. After that, I stopped going on dates at all. And because of COVID, I don't really have any friends and acquaintances left. Or maybe because of age and bachelor life. Well, it seems that now they are all family men and it is difficult for them to find free time. Anyway, I've seen my ex-wife a couple of times in the last couple of years and we exchanged a couple of words, but nothing important. I know that she lost her father because of COVID and I expressed my condolences for her loss because he loved her so much. She also told me that she has a younger boyfriend and they are doing well. We have never been tea and anything like that during this time. But 2 months ago she wrote to me that she wanted to meet me for dinner. There she admitted that her relationship, which is a little over a year old, is actually not so rosy and she wants to break up. They can't agree on whether to have children or not, and she doesn't see the future next to him. We kept in touch these 2 months and 12 days ago she broke up with him. She said that it was partly because of the same conversation with me. She remembered how everything was with me when we started dating and how it didn't look like what she had with him. She and I have been talking a lot for the last few weeks. After the breakup, she writes to me every day in the morning. 2 days ago, she called me at 7 a.m., saying that she was standing under my door and brought me food. I was sick, but I don't remember when I told her about it. She brought a lot of homemade food and my favorite soup. I thought we went back 10 years ago. I've been confused since then. I'm not sure what I feel at all. I think I fell in love with her again. She pays me so much attention, and it's insanely sweet. She also orders food for me or brings it herself. Last night we snowed together because I was too sick to get up and clean up after myself. Nothing happened, but at the same time it seems to me that she wants to offer to start dating again. And I must admit that all this attention, food, and other manifestations of love and care begin to seem incredible to me. I'm not sure who I can talk to about it. I think I need to leave her for a few days so that her head clears up. It's been so long since I was so pleased with myself. And many problems in our relationship were because of the way her father behaved with me, so I keep thinking, maybe we can try again, and this time everything will be better. I would be very grateful for any advice or for someone to want to talk to help me understand this issue. TLDR, the thing is that I'm thinking about getting together with my wife again. A lot has changed, but I'm not sure if we should meet again or not. Do you have any advice? As for the news, they are ambiguous. On Saturday, she came to talk about our relationship and what we both wanted, what went wrong, etc. She asked for the first word and agreed, although I should have spoken it first. But I gave her a say and she focused on her relationship with the whole family. How important her father was to her. How much everyone else was involved in her relationship with me. She apologized for allowing her family, and in particular her father, to interfere in our marriage. But I was particularly hurt by the way she mentioned that her ex-boyfriend never wanted to be near her family and hated going to any family celebrations with them or even for ordinary dinners, etc. She said that it was then that she realized how much easier everything was in our marriage thanks to me. It was terribly offensive because I remember telling her in different ways and many times, even before her mother's death, that I was not against participating in her family's life. But she should not mix our relationship and relationships with her father. She said that once her father threw something rude at her ex, and after that he refused to be in the same room with him. I replied that the guy did everything right. I reminded her how her father, after 5 years of our relationship with her, told me that he did not want to give me his blessing to marry her. I don't know why, but it was very painful to hear from her mouth how she saw her family's relationship with her boyfriend and that it helped her understand how toxic they could be. As if my feelings and my resistance didn't mean as much to her. I told her about it, and her eyes became teary and she apologized many times for it. She said that she was young and inexperienced, and when her mother died, she was afraid of losing her father, so it was hard for her to hear everything I told her about him. I remember one day we cooked a family dinner and her father said very painful words about my cooking. I mentioned it to her and her brothers and sisters, but she refused to listen to me, even when her sister told her that she had to listen because I was telling the truth. Anyway, when we started talking about her father, I somehow got distracted from the conversation. As a result, we talked about him for about 2 hours. I think she also wanted to relieve herself of some of the responsibility. It was very emotional and tiring. After that, I had no strength to continue the conversation. I really regret that I didn't speak first because I wanted to talk to her and about our problems in bed. But first we had to cook. She said how much she missed cooking with me and being close to each other. I think that's another trait that her ex-boyfriend didn't appreciate in her. After cooking dinner together, we just sat, ate, and talked about those few cases when we had a little time for ourselves when we were married. She mentioned how much she liked those 2 trips after our wedding. When we first started dating, we had much more time because we were still studying. But then, after we got a job and started taking care of the house, it became noticeably less. After we finished lunch, I was too tired to continue our conversation, so we just sat next to each other for a while. We talked about what we shouldn't expect if we start dating. I told her that I want to talk about our problems in bed, but maybe not right now. She replied that she apologized for not listening to me about it. She was a very selfish lover and told me that it was difficult for her to understand that she ignored my needs. She said that if we meet again, she wants us to go to a family psychologist together to improve our family life. I think it would be nice to talk to someone who will help me convey my point of view to her. I'm not sure how productive this conversation can be if it's just the two of us. She has a habit of interrupting me or agreeing with me, but not letting me speak. I want to talk to her about it too, but I think it would be better if I wait until we find a specialist. But, nevertheless, I think we have come to a good conclusion of this conversation. I want to ask her out tonight, maybe on Tuesday or Wednesday. She came back home last night, and I missed her. I don't know if it's a good sign or if it means that I'm just lonely. Yesterday, when she was at my place, one of her siblings called her and she called me by name. I didn't eavesdrop on purpose, but I heard her say my name, so I caught it. I think this should also be a good sign. Or maybe I'm just desperately trying to find something positive and perceive it as a sign. She wanted to come today, but I told her that I feel much better and she doesn't need to cook for me today. Besides, today I spent the whole morning looking at our old photos. It was nice to remember what it was like before. It seems to me that yesterday I saw a piece of that very person in it. Am I wrong that I want to start something so quickly? I know I said I'd wait, but waiting now seems pointless. I really don't want to rush because I want us to find a relationship specialist as soon as possible. But I'm afraid I'll lose her if I don't show interest in her. TLDR. We talked about our problems, which were related to her father. We also talked about personal life, sex, and a relationship specialist. She said she wants to have an individual counselor on her problems, and I think that's right. However, now I want to invite her on a date this week according to all the rules. Maybe on Wednesday. Isn't it early? Translator's note: 3 months ago, the author released another update. I will not give its full text here because it is long and monotonous, but there he writes on the one hand that they're trying to officially build a relationship. On the other hand, he admits that he does not know who they are to each other. They go to a consultation and try to spend more time with each other than with her family. He denies that she cheated on her ex and mentions that he was cruel to her and now she is suing her ex. He mentions that he could not write an update for a long time because of a flux of hatred in his direction in the comments. Does he also ask not to write bad words about his ex-wife, old new girlfriend, and her late father? The latter, according to the author, hated everyone who was not a member of his family, but he had a hard life, let him rest in peace.